Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Nemesis Gaming League. Ventus and I are back again for another banger. This time, it is the last All Star game of the All Star week. I'm so glad we had such a great time today. So many game fives. Unfortunately, a little sweep that last game, but that doesn't matter. We're gonna have a great series on our hands here. I'm joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Ventus. How you doing?
Doing fantastic. I can't wait to see all the All Stars from the Titan League. My league that I am unfortunately a sub in. Nobody wants the lowest Sal player to play as a on a team, which makes sense. You have plenty of caps, so many great, amazing players, so many players who have hit the top pinnacle ranks of the game. We have players who are all the way up in 21, 2200, that are on teams together. So when it comes to that, the talent that we have in the Titan League is so good. So many great players to choose from, and I'm hoping that this matchup is going to be great as it looks like we're starting to get some players in the lobby. Brandon is making his appearance. Hopefully, Pizza and Rockiers will be there as well. That dynamic duo from Inferno, who have really been a great asset. I know Rockiers played with Brandon last season on Venganza and won a chip. So hopefully there will be a lot of good chemistry between these three players.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. I think at some point, all three of them have teamed up with each other, except for maybe Brandon and Pizza. But I mean, you can bridge that gap when you get to it. But those should be a great game. I remember when Rockiers came into the league. It was around like season 8, season 9. He didn't know much about Nemesis. He just came in and instantly became one of the premier players. So I'm glad to see him back, and especially with Brandon, who's always been upper echelon of Titan, such a great player. And Pizza, I just think he has a funny name. I'm sure he's great. I just think he has a funny name. So I'm going to be rooting for Pizza. But that also might be because I'm on the Eastern side of things. But let's talk about the stinky West for a moment. We have Krotozz, Lakes, Bluey, and Dimitri. Not a terrible team for the West. I could see them actually putting a hand up to this East squad.
I definitely think that the West have a good chance. Dimitri, currently the top player or top rated player in Titan League, above Brandon, Rockiers, and Pizza. So very good player there. Hopefully maybe he graces us with his presence. All these players, Kratos is number 6, Lakes is the number 7 player rated, Bluey the number 8 player rated. So all these players such high commodities in the Titan League, showing that they are kind of these standout players even amongst the best. And so we hopefully will be able to see a lot of this great gameplay from them. And I mean, I'm just hoping for a good series.
Oh, yeah. We've had a lot of game fives, like even the GM game went to game three. It's the max it can go. So we've seen a lot of great series thus far in All Star Week. It's always fun. Get a nice break. Technically off on Wednesday, even though we had this entire week off. So make sure you enjoy it. Maybe take a vacation. Um, I feel bad for the players who took a vacation last week and are just now back to not playing any Nemesis. So, um, but yeah, I mean, summer is time for having fun, and I think Nemesis is a great way to spend your time, have some fun here, play some Rocket League. The community is great, and I'm excited to get this Titan League matchup going. But it seems like the Titan players do not mess with us. If they just decide not to join, I think you and I will 2v2 Rockerman and Brandon. I think we got that.
Oh yeah, that's it's kind of light work for guys like us. I mean,
Yep.
what are you gonna do? Titan League, Super Sub, Ventus, and maybe Prospect MVP Gallium over on the same team. I don't think Brandon and Rogerman could hang.
It's the Carolina connection. Bojangles represent. As we still don't have any player in the lobby besides Brandon. So let's take some time and kind of reflect on the day so far, shall we? So first off, we had the GM matchup. It was a pretty good matchup. Ended up going to 3. I thought East was going to get absolutely smoked from the start, but they took a game on snow day, surprising myself, because Foam used to be the number one player in snow day at one point. So they took off a game from the number one snow day player at one point, which is pretty impressive. But they got belted 6-0 in the actual 4v4. It was not close. But then we go to the novice league, right? Wonderful series being played, very back and forth. Not only the series going back and forth, but the players coming in. You know, it seems like they were subbing out every 2 seconds for a new player. And I believe that East won that one just barely. I believe 6-5 or 6-3 in game 5. And they had Chunklite on their team, so I was honestly very impressed. Chunklite, obviously one of the premier players in a novice. Prospect, game 5, cool. Challenger, it was pretty cool. Kopente just decided to take over the match. He's Kopente. He scored the game-winning goal in overtime. Granted, probably one of the luckiest goals I've ever seen in my entire life, but still a great goal regardless. And they were battling back and forth, and the East almost had a reverse sweep. They were down 2-0. They clawed back and brought it to game 5 OT. So hats off to them. Obviously, they didn't pull it out, but the last match we had on stream, it was an utter blowout. I mean, Flip just looked so good on the east side. Just incredible player, and paired up with Flip and Flip. I mean, you can't get a better team than that. And unfortunately, the West couldn't handle it. Just clean sweep. And now I see two teams, you know, and I don't know. I don't know who's gonna win this one. If I'm gonna be completely honest, I'm leaning Eastern, but Ventus, who you got in this best of 5 here?
I think it'll be a very close series regardless. I think it'll depend on if all of the all stars are able to show up, or if they're going to have to start reaching into the reserves that they have. Because if you look at, Pizza, Rockiers, and Brandon, those three are the number 2, 3, and 4 rated player in Titans. So for me, even though there's a players like Dimitri and Krotozz on the other team, I think that the East have the edge. I think it'll still be a close match, but so far it seems like Pizza and Rockiers still have not made an appearance, and so I have to start wondering what kind of other players do they have. I mean, Denzi is a great player as well, but is he at that caliber level that Pizza and Rockiers are at? Or maybe there's somebody like Mogi or Monster or
Mm-hmm.
Juju, that is gonna make their appearance. Where it's like, yes, they are very good players, but now you're matching up, a bit lower on the totem pole to Bluey, Krotozz, and Dimitri, and so whatever it's gonna be, it could be very close. It could be a landslide victory for one team, just depending on the day, the matchup, and really who's playing. But since I am on Venganza, I will say that the West are going to take it.
Boo. Double thumbs down for you, Ventus. Not a huge fan of that take, but that's okay. East will show up because we're a bunch of beasts. All right. I think they're gonna take it in 4. I think it's gonna be close. I don't think any game is gonna be a blowout. I think they're all gonna be close. I think East takes it, but as you were saying, like, which Titan players can they get? I mean, Titan players. Titan League has shrunk down to 8 teams, so there's not as many Titan players to choose from as there used to be, but there's still a very great selection of Titan players. And we got some like new faces, like Mogi has really impressed me. I'm surprised that Pinnacle is like what 1-9 or something. Like, yeah, Mogi is just an insane player. So I'm not really sure how that happened. And their one win was on stream against one of the better teams. So really confusing team to look at. But I'm still pitching the idea that Rockerman and Brandon 2v2 Ventus and I, bro. I mean, you gotta get down to it at some point. And I think honestly that'll be a much better series.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think that. I mean, maybe not an easier series. I think that there's a pretty clear winner in that one. I mean, I'm not biased or anything, but I just think that the North Carolina connection
Mm.
between Gallium and Ventus just is unstoppable, and
Mhm.
I think that the duo can't be upset or anyway. And so I think it would be an easy 3-0 sweep for Ventus and Galleon, but that's just from an analyst's opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, I mean, you have Rockerman and Brandon on the other end, and I played the prospect All Star game with his teammate Hunter, and Hunter, word for word, was like, "Yeah, Rockerman sucks. He's the worst player ever in prospect." So, I mean, very unkind words from your own teammate Rockerman. So, I definitely think we could take them down. Brandon used to be a player for Rockerman's org forever. I believe he might have won a chip or almost did at some point. Um, but he's always a great player. I can't backtalk him. He would wax me in a 1v1, like absolutely wax me. And I mean, I can't even win a 1v1 to Marco. Do you think I'm gonna win a 1v1 against Brandon? No, he's the absolute goat. As we finally get maybe some players joining as Ventus. I don't know about you. I just want to see some action. Yeah, I don't care what kind of action.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we will be able to start this series up very soon. But in the meantime, I wanted to talk about Titan League as a whole, and instead of the All Stars, kind of talking about the teams and their paths that they are currently in or have to take to be in this playoff picture. Because right now, Titan League, pretty much anybody's game. So many teams sitting at or just above 500, very even game differentials. Overall, Titan League seemingly very even in terms of overall skill and overall team skill. I mean, the number one seed Inferno is sitting at 6-2. I mean, the number 6 seed Blizzard is sitting at 4-4. But all these teams are so close together, and so really it comes down to just who's on top of their game that day.
Yeah, and I have the pleasure of having Brandon in my org. So, I mean, he's been rocking out for Nebula, been an absolute force to be reckoned with. And Nebula, from last time I checked, is doing all right. Not necessarily the best, not necessarily the worst, but it's just honestly, a lot of middle of the pack kind of stuff, very close all the way. And it's kind of similar to Novice. Both Novice and Titan, I believe at one point, like Novice teams were like, there was like I want to say like four novice teams, like 4-2, and they were like the top four. So, very close leagues in both aspects there. And you have to look at the other end of the spectrum. Like if you have a close league, especially towards the top, you are going to have those worst teams. Like in Titan, like 1-9 Pinnacle, they haven't been doing well at all. And in Novice, Pawns, I don't know if they've won a game. If I'm going to be completely honest, as a chess hall enjoyer, it breaks my heart to see the Pawns do that poorly. But they've honestly been making some changes, speeds, trying to get them right. So maybe in the future they'll get them right. But overall, Titan has always been one of my favorite leagues to watch in terms of just, I mean, obviously pure skill, but I think the mental in Titan players is just so much better, right? You're down 3-0. Titan players just don't give up, right? They're playing until the very last second. So I've seen some crazy upsets, some crazy things happen um, in the Titan League, and hopefully this game will be an amalgamation of all just what the Titan League stands for, what they're all about. So, I'm excited personally to see some Bluey action. I haven't watched Bluey play in a while. I mean, he used to. I mean, I think he still teams with what's his face? Who is who is his teammate who he always teams with?
Vulcan, he frequently teams with Vulcan. Their third currently is Prism. All three pretty solid players. I know I've played Vulcan. I believe I've also played Bluey recently, in other leagues, and I'd be super excited to watch them again. As it looks, there might be some action brewing.
Yeah, I
Um,
think they're going for the 2v2 approach maybe, since they can't
mm,
get anyone else to fill the spot. And I believe the game mode of choice is hoops. Speaking of hoops, I know people who went to the major. I unfortunately couldn't make it. There was this big 2v2 hoops tournament. Um, so I think a lot of people who went to the major are very prepared for it. I don't know if any of these Titan players went to the major, but pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Kratos is saying him and Brandon could 1v1 show match. I would pay to see that. That actually be a very good game.
Yeah, that would be a fantastic game. I would also love to see hoops. I know that Logan, a Titan League player on my Venganza team, went and played in that hoops tournament. He did not win, but he was practicing a little bit for it with his teammate, and they're gearing up for it. I know T-Man, also a Titan League player in Nemesis, played um, in that tournament as well. Very, very big tournament. Super, super fun. I know that only players and coaches were allowed to attend. So unfortunately, I wasn't signed up, so I did not get to attend. Uh, but I heard it was a super fun time and a blast.
Yeah, super fun time indeed. As you know, I think we've talked all we can talk about Rocket League wise, especially Nemesis wise. So we can now transition over to what our favorite fruits are. Ventus, you got a top five for us?
Oh, a top five.
Hmm.
Oh man. I mean, number one, this might be a controversial. I'm gonna go with a strawberry, man. I just think a
Like at
good
the top. Okay,
strawberry.
I can
Yeah,
mess with
number
that.
one, best of best. A very good strawberry is just so good. I think that strawberries are criminally underrated as a fruit. I think that an easy number two would be a pineapple. Pineapples are just so flavorful, have so
Hmm.
much to their name, household name. You put them up there with the goats, you
It's
put them
not
up there
crazy to
with
say that. It's not crazy to
gives,
say that at
put 'em
all.
up there with apples.
Yeah, as we are maybe getting some action here, it's coming up soon, guys. Don't worry. Ventus, keep going with your top five fruits.
Let's see. So we're saying number one, strawberry. Number
Yep.
two,
Actually,
pineapples.
let's make this list together. Matter of fact, because it seems like
Ooh,
we agree on most of it. All right, three. I'm
what do
thinking
you?
like this is kind of like an interesting pick for me, but I'm gonna say a pear. I really like pears. I think they're solid. They're like better
Mm,
apples in my opinion.
really? Okay. Better than
Yeah.
apples, though. You
They're
had
just
me.
they're
You
harder to
had me.
eat.
But then
They're
you
harder
lost
to
me.
eat, I will say, but I mean once you get in there, it's like a reward, right? Like you break that outer barrier of a pear and it's just like it's money as it's thundering so loudly outside of my house right now. If the power goes out, I apologize in advance. But who would you have in your third spot?
I think you'd have to go with a watermelon. I think
Uh
watermelon is so universal. You can eat it at the pool. You can eat it at the beach. You can eat it for a snack. You can eat it as part of your dinner. It's such a versatile. You can plug him into the five. You can plug him into the three. You can plug him in at point. He's so versatile as a player, and I just think he's the all around player that you want.
Oh yeah, for sure. Watermelon definitely. I can't argue with that, and I'd argue even maybe second. I mean, the watermelon's just so good. Fourth spot. Honestly, does banana sneak into the top five? Do we think?
Banana plays up. Banana plays up to his
Hmm.
competition.
Like six man of the year type of fruit.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, you just have him. He's such a good role player. He can just play his role so well. Great defense coming out of the gate. Pairs super well with some ice cream or some peanut butter. I mean, the combos that he has are just crazy, and I don't think it would be crazy to slide him into that four.
Yeah, it's not crazy at all. So we finally have a matchup here. We have Brandon and Crate taking on Bluey and Vulcan. We have Brantaz taking on Balukin in some hoops, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, what a better way to end the night than some 2v2 hoops as we see Brandon rocking the Scarab. Don't even hate it from the kid. And is that a T-Man inspired Scarab as Crate can't get the double touch? And I believe he might have just randomized his preset there. As Bluey and Vulcan, obviously teammates. Vulcan was the guy I was trying to remember because Vulcan and Bluey have been playing since the dawn of time, right? I'm probably pretty sure the Stegosaurus remembers them playing. I mean, they have been together so many times. And I've been informed by the public um, that, oh, as you know what, Bluey is just going to shut me up real quick. What a goal from him.
Yeah, he's just a great play. He had the touch to catch on the back, on the sidewall, and then he is able to get the pre-flip double touch onto that backboard, put that one in the net. Some great hoops gameplay early, and I wouldn't be surprised with how much Bluey and Vulcan play together if they, played grinded some hoops every now and again. As they seem to know what they're doing pretty early on.
Oh, yeah, 100%, as we almost have a double here, but I was informed that the West are going to automatically win this All-Star game due to a forfeit. All three of their players were able to make it, but the East could not field a roster. So this is just for fun. This is just for funsies. And, why not? Hoops, such a great game mode. Unfortunately, I kind of suck at it, so I can't really comment on anything you could do in hoops. But overall, I think the main thing in hoops is just banging the ball and praying.
I wouldn't go so far as to say just hit it up and hope for the best. Allegedly myself as a once upon a time a hoops grinder, previous top 100 hoops player. So I think that hoops can have some very high skill moments. The ability, when you can air dribble and control the ball as well as Titan players can, the ability that you have to create such mind games, go for these fakes, go for these hold your flip reset and force your opponent to jump and make the challenge, and you can just tap it around them. As the hoops net allows for so much versatility with the aerial play, and so it's going to be very interesting to see how these teams are going to be able to adapt to the different goal and the mind games and the new skills and creativity they can use with the hoops net.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's going to be definitely interesting, adjusting, and I'm glad we have a resident expert on the case. Grinding extra modes, Ventus. Come on. I mean, are we serious? Are we serious? I mean,
Once upon a time.
I will say though, it's probably one of the better extra modes, as I am not playing Snow Day. I'm not doing that. That Snow Day is the worst. But Hoops is up there as probably one of the better ones. So you see Krotozz up with it, tries to get a flip reset. He might have gotten it, but couldn't flip out of it. Bluey sends it over, and Bluey and Vulcan connection striking early.
It's a great play there from Bluey. Just a good pop from Vulcan to put it up onto the backboard. Bluey able to get the speed to beat Brandon, who is zero boost there. Just needs to drop it around them. And in hoops, you don't even have to necessarily get a hard shot. You just play around the defender, make sure you kind of just dodge the defender, put the ball around the defender, and it's very easy to score from there, because when you take the defender out of the equation, it's such an easy net to shoot on that many a times the ball can just naturally loft into the net if not gone unchecked.
Oh, 100%. It's kind of like just regular Rocket League. If you don't have that third man just hanging back, it's not ideal. Things happen as we have, I believe, some more Titan players joining. Are we getting? I believe the East have still already forfeited. So they might join in on the hoops fun. Don't even hate it from the guys as Vulcan tries to slam it down. Beautiful play from him, as we see Brandon going for a nice play. And I gotta say, he's playing really good for being in the Scarab and having probably one of the most ugliest cars I ever laid my two eyes on. But Crate is going to take it up. Crate, a Nemesis born and bred player. He started off in Chally, I believe, and he's been playing for numerous seasons all the way up to Titan, and he has become one of the staples in the Titan League, as I'm not sure Zeus really wanted me to say that, as a lightning strike just almost obliterated my house. As Vulcan tries to get more than one touch, we see finally a 3v3. Official teams are Crate, Brandon, and Zinvez versus Bluey, Vulcan, and Denzi. I mean, you gotta love some of the Nebula representation. I mean, I think we have the entirety of Nebula on both sides, no?
Yeah, I mean, Brandon, Zinvez, and Denzi are all players for Nebula, all very great individual players, and Denzi and Zinvez both common players that play together. I know that they have played hoops before and have the ability in hoops to create some crazy plays. As Denzi gonna get a nice a goal there off of a good pre-flip off the sidewall.
Yeah, I mean, just beautiful play coming out from Denzi. I mean, he's really showing his stuff early on. I mean, didn't have any boost, still made it work. I mean, just beautiful play from these Titan players. I mean, they're really hitting that basketball. They're really hitting it, and they're hitting it hard, and they're hitting it good. The orange team hitting it much better than the blue team, as the orange team just hit it in the back of the net for another point.
The unfortunate play from Zinvez, kind of dunking Brandon and Bluey, not even necessarily needing to touch that ball as it is already going in, just electing to go for a fake, maybe a bump on a potential last defender. And overall, it seems like this match gonna end in a 4-0 for the purple team, and hopefully we are going to see some more content coming out from these players next game.
You know, if only Denzi and company could have joined a little earlier, because Denzi, Zinvez, and Brandon are all Eastern Conference players. So they could have had an official All Star game. It just could have been Nebula versus the West. Um, so I believe we might switch game modes. I'm not sure. They're requesting into game mode switch, but you know, ball is life. All right, ball is life, and the Titan players are here to have fun, and that's what we're all about here in the Nemesis Gaming League, is having an absolute blast here. So you know, I still honestly disagree with the decision not to get us in that 2v2. Just really a sell job. I mean, we could have casted while playing. It could have been a real fun endeavor, but no, it's okay.
Definitely would be a very fun endeavor. Um I'm just seeing what the uh decision is, what's going to happen for this game, as it looks like we are going to go back to 2v2 potentially, just to finish out this hoops series. As um Oh, it looks like we are
Yeah.
playing a 3v3, and we're going to just continue the hoops as all the players joined up for this. We're going to have more hoops gameplay coming out, just some Titan League players, maybe some freestyling, some just random gameplay here. As it seems that they are keeping the same teams as well. They were asking if they could put Zin and Denzi on the same team, as they wanted that duo versus duo, Vulcan and Bluey versus Denzi and Zinvez. But unfortunately, not going to happen, as Denzi on the purple team, Zinvez on the blue team.
I mean, that's just offensive. I mean, you're just dissing your other teammate Brandon at that point. I mean, just disrespectful, in my opinion. I mean, that's just, you can't see that as great. Switching to the Dominus might have been the best decision for him.
Yeah, and it's a great little air dribble there. The ball in hoops is lighter than a normal ball in the regular game mode, and so it's super easy to get a good pop on your first touch for your air dribble. And we can see that right there, as Kratos easily able to get a low air dribble, but just above the crossbar, and put it in the back of the net.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just great play overall. As, oh my goodness, what a save from this orange team. Looked like surely it would go in the back of the net, but Denzi, part of that squad, to stop that, as Zimviz and Brandon both up with it. Brandon still sticking with that awful car, unfortunately. Sorry about your eyes. It's back. It's like T-Man's back. You know, it's something for sure. It's a beautiful read, actually, off the backboard. Is someone going to be there? Vulcan can't be. Bluey pre-jumps it a little wide. And now Denzi, last one back. Crate up with one. Vulcan sends it back to Crate on accident. Now Brandon and Crate get an interesting little maybe pinch play going, as Bluey up with it. Kratos going to beat him out. Now Denzi can't make contact. Vulcan sends it down the pitch. Maybe going to get a little more. He does. Cannot find more than that. Seems like the blue team's kind of turned it around after losing in game one. I believe 4-0. I mean, it's so good to see them finally back.
You see the real X factors coming out in Denzi, a great redirect, and Zin, as Zin's been able to be a key piece to this turnaround with Kratos and Brandon. And so both these teams really starting to especially pick up the pace, pretty much not really playing much hoops amongst these players, but you can see they can start reading the ball very well. It's a great double tap, but an even better save coming out from Bluey. And you can just, once these players start to understand how the ball bounces and the speed that you're able to generate on it, the touches you can get are going to be even more insane than they are now.
Oh yeah, 100%. You know, they're getting a feel for the game as Orange team looking to threaten here as Brandon and two of his teammates just triple commit on that one. Bluey can't put it in the back, and then now it's Denzi sends it to the side. Zinvez off the ceiling, and now Brandon can't get more than that. Bluey maybe a nice 50, of course it is. Kratos on the defense can't get more than that. Now it's Brandon setting up his teammates, hopefully for success here. They just need to hold out for 2 more minutes as Denzi sends it down. Denzi can't find the touch. Vulcan gets a nice 50 going. It bounces off the floor, and it might just go in. Vulcan with a very interesting shot there.
Seems like he gets a nice dunk on Kratos there. Zinvez not able to get the touch. It looked like Brandon had so much faith in Zinvez to get the touch. He was not even turning towards the ball. Realizes afterwards that he now needs to make a very fast save. Unfortunately, not going to be able to do so. And this one might be another dangerous opportunity, but it's going to be saved away by Zinvez.
You know, off that kickoff, Zinvez was too busy typing in the chat to go for kickoff and almost bit him there. Because instead of jumping up to get that ball, he just kind of jumped backwards, I guess. Not really sure what happened there. As you see, both these teams going back and forth, but it seems like the orange team kind of has more of an advantage. They're really starting to make these plays as Crate decides to just absolutely whiff on that one. A nice oh my gosh. Oh my. That was disgusting. That was disgusting.
Yeah, and this is the type of touches you can get once you start understanding how the ball bounces off the surfaces and the speed that and the weight of the ball. You know, I mentioned that the hoops ball is lighter, and so now that these Titan players are having a better understanding of how the physics of the ball actually work, we're starting to see some crazy plays and an insane sidewall coming out from Denzi and a great follow up from Vulcan able to put that one home.
Oh yeah. I mean, that was just a beautiful play overall, and the blue team has no response. As you know what, honestly, they've just been playing really, really great so far. As we have Bluey off the backboard, Denzi a nice touch himself, and it's still off the backboard. Kratos up with it. Can't find more than that as Lightning Strike has temporarily shut off my monitor. But we're back. Denzi up with it. Can't find the touch. Vulcan can't find more than that. Kratos gets demoed for his troubles. Now Zinvez racing for it. Vulcan gets a touch himself. Maybe another goal for the Volkster. That's what I call him now. No one else can call him that. What a goal.
Yeah, that's great control over. He gets a nice pop to the sidewall, then able to catch it and dribbles it perfectly around two and put that one in the back of the net to go up 3-1 with 18 seconds left. It seems like Bluey so confident that Vulcan and Dempsey can hold down a 2-goal lead that he has already left the match to go to sleep. And Denzi, maybe one more for the road, is going to find the back of the net to give a 3-goal lead with 10 seconds left. And put it a little bit farther out of reach for this blue team.
I mean, just absolutely a snipe from Denzi. I mean, beautiful stuff from him as, 12 seconds left. It's not crazy to have a comeback here as stuff like that keeps happening. It's almost ball being snuck in. Brandon finds one, maybe signs of life here.
Yeah, I wouldn't go so far as to say that they need to score 2 more goals in 7 seconds. It is possible. Hoops is one of the few game modes where kickoffs are very important as to the flow of the game, and you can instantly score off of kickoffs if you have a much better kickoff than your opponent. And we might see another goal
Oh
here.
no.
Looks like Krotozz gonna put it back in the net, but the clock is going to hit 0 seconds. So Bluekin going to take the win. Vulcan and Denzi now able to hold the blue team off just long enough so that they can finish out the game and win the series 2-0.
I mean, if Kratos didn't get that extra touch to put it in a different place in the net and instead went for the 50, they might have had 1 second left on the clock. But Just want to thank all the Titan players for coming out. Fun series overall. Nice to see some hoops going. And I think the MVP for me has got to be Vulcan. I mean, it looks like that dude really knows how to dribble some balls. I mean, he just looked so spectacular driving up and down the court. I mean, listen, if you need anyone for a hoops tournament, everyone DM Ventus, or it's not Ventus, sorry, Vulcan. Everyone do DM Ventus right now. Ventus and Vulcan, same person. As you know what? We had a great stream today. It was so much fun. Thank you, Ventus, for joining me. Should be back to normal next week, so be prepared for that. I want to thank Ventus again for casting and Rockerman for streaming. It's been a pleasure.
Right quick before we go, we need to shout out our Nemesis premium subscribers. Thank you for the subscription for all of the players: Crotera, Flame, Snow Reaper, Wiggle, Critter, Fenrir, Neons, Rayer, Speed, and Street Soul. All of those, the Titan League subscribers, Challenger subscribers, and even our novice subscribers there. Big shout out to those guys, as a lot of this stuff can't happen without their support, and so we just wanted to shout them out real quick. But that is all. That is going to be all from us tonight. A great all-star weekend night, all-star night. Thank you, Gallium, for casting with me and putting up with my fruit list.
It's okay. Maybe Paris will sneak in there one day. But you guys have a great rest of your night. Peace out.